Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to It's Poppin', where we talk about everything pop-up camper related. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to set up a pop-up camper. Now, this particular pop-up's a Starcraft, 2008 Starcraft 2409, so there will be differences in every type of pop-up. But for the most part, I think this is pretty generalizable. I'm going to assume that the pop-up is level and that the wheels are chalked and everything like that, but I'll show you every step after that. Alright guys, so first things first, I'm going to undo all the latches. So just one quick tip on the awning. If you plan on using it, I definitely recommend opening it up and unrolling it while your roof is still down. Alright, so the next step is to just crank up the roof. And on this pop-up, the handle for the roof raising crank goes right there. And it is clockwise to raise the roof up. Okay, so before the roof is completely raised, I like to make sure that this tension guide on the right hand side of the camper is kind of free and able to tell you when the roof is completely cranked up. So we'll continue till that's taut, which it is, and that's the roof completely up. Alright guys, so now that the roof is raised, just a few notes. Before you go ahead and slide your beds out, at least especially the front bed, I like to make sure everything's out of that front storage box that you're going to need access to. For us, that's almost everything. And then second, make sure that if you're going to use your propane anytime soon, that you turn that on. It makes it easier to get to your propane turn on valve. Alright, so next up is putting on the bed supports. Now, each bed has two supports. One that the bed slides out onto, and then another set of supports that the will get clipped in after the bed is slid out. Now, of note, on the front, as you can kind of see there's these two clips that this front bed support latches into right up there. So I'll show you that next. As you can see on for the front bed rail, that just slides into that first hole. Alright, so it's the same scenario on the back where the top has those clips. However, on the bottom it has these kind of notches in the rear of the frame, and at least for these first supports, it goes in the right hand side notch, or it should be the outermost. So on the right it's the right hand most, on the left side it's the leftmost. Okay, so now that the bunk ends are pulled out, I'm just going to set up the second set of support brackets that clip into the frontmost post right here. So I'm going to take out the crank, pop this in right here, flat end parallels that flat end right there, and lift up and slide it in. Repeat on the other side. Alright guys, so it's the same thing on the back. These slide in with this end, the flat end, towards the frame of the camper into that second slot, and then you lift up. Getting shifted. So lift up, same thing, pop it in, and then this slides into this bracket right here. If we can get it. we go. And same thing on the other side. All right, so now that the bunk ends are pulled out, that kind of unlocks the slide out. So this slide out can't be opened up until your bunk ends are open. This is real simple. All right, so now that everything's popped up, all the beds are slid out and the slide out is out, before I jump in the camper, I like to put on these, I don't know, I guess they're like lift arm supports that you put on two of the lift arms on diagonal sides of the camper, just in case your lifting system fails. And then one on the other opposite side of the camper. Okay, so once your roof is raised, and only when your roof is raised, you can drop down these, I guess, box supports. So what I use is a 3/4 inch socket on an impact driver, and just drop those down into place. And just remember, you're not leveling the camper with these, they're just for support. All right, so when it comes to plugging in your pop-up, if you're going to be camping with electricity, you can really plug it in anytime you want, just as long as it's plugged in before you know, you go and try to use your air conditioner or whatever. So to do that, this slides up, and then you can pull off your cover, pull out your cord. In this case, it's a 30 amp, and then this snaps back into place to keep water out. And in order to get in the pop-up, obviously we got to open up our door, pull out the step until it's flat, and then in our particular case, you have to flip up the stove. So as you can see, for travel purposes, the sink gets flipped down, and at this time I would just take anything you store in it. For example, we throw some paper towel and Kleenex in there. Take that out, flip up your sink, and you're good to go. Pop that there, and then we have our paper towel holder right there. All right, so the next step is actually raising up the roof supports. So we just store these on the bunk ends for travel, and then they snap on right in the middle there, and kind of raise them up. Make sure none of your canvas is getting pinched, and then up here you push down the button, lock it into place, and do that for each end as well as the slide out. Okay, so once you're done popping up the slide out, you can go ahead and install the light that goes over the slide out. This is what ours looks like, and then it's got a plug like this, and I'll show you exactly where to attach this and plug this in, so that way you got a little more light. So that clips on there, this plugs right up in there, and then, as you can see, we have light. All right, so next up is the door. As you can see, these two little guys right here, those are what allow you to detach the door from the ceiling. And then of course, that upper half just swings down and attaches to the lower half of the door. So in order to get the door into place, this little guy slides right into there. Same exact thing on the other side. And the door should essentially drop into place. Now let me pan you over. There's this little clasp right here that pops out and latches right onto your bottom half of your door. Moving up, we have this kind of lock, which will allow you to open up your door then. And then up top, all you do is put a little pressure on the upper half of the door. That snaps in, and then turn both of these guys so that your whole door locks into place. Next up is getting either the interior table set up, or if you need that bed space, you can just go ahead and throw your cushions on it. Okay, so if you want to set up this area as your inside table, pretty simple. All you do is lift up on your table and take out, in our case, this is our exterior stove. So what I do is I just get this out of the way, set it aside. That way you have access to the outside stove. This is also kind of on a latch, and then get this out of the way as well, so that way you can install that after you get your table set up. All right, so in order to get the table set up, pretty simple. Just detach your legs. Pretty sure this is like most folding tables in the world, but get your legs swung out. Definitely easier with two people, but you can make do with one. And slide that into place. Next step, it was kind of sticky, but slide your backrest up. And it might not hurt to take anything out of these storage bins that you'll need at this point. But the next step is to throw your cushions on. Okay, so now that you have your exterior stove pulled out, I like to get that attached, and that just simply clips on and then hangs down. Once the stove is attached, you can go ahead and attach your gas line as well. This pops off, and then that attaches. And then to turn it on, or the gas on rather, just flip it so it's parallel with your line. So right next to your exterior stove is going to be the exterior access panel for the refrigerator. So if you plan on using your refrigerator, turning it on, just pop that out. And it really depends on what, if you have an electrical hookup, you'll hit your 120 volt switch. Or if you're running off 12 volt, you'll hit this switch. And finally, if you're going to be running off propane, you'll light it over here. All right, so next thing, and this one's of course optional. A, if you have it, and B, if you plan on using it, which is flipping up the shower. So ours just has this kind of cover that attaches on back here. We store our shower mat in here. And that's essentially it. Just before we go to use it, what we do is hang up the shower curtain. So the shower curtain attaches to this railing here, and it attaches via these little clasps. Okay, so next, it's not a bad time to turn on your water pump if you're not connected to city water, and make sure you have water in your water holding tank if you're going to be trying to use your water pump. Also next to the water pump is going to be where you plug in your air conditioner. So if it calls for it, plug in your air conditioner right here. Alternatively, if you're doing some colder weather pop-up camping, your furnace is located right next to the air conditioner plug. However, at least in our pop-up, I'll bring you all the way over here, this is closer to the door. This is where our thermostat is located. So of course you need the propane on, but once the propane's on, you can just toggle your thermostat on to whatever temperature. All right, so once your shower's popped up, if you have a cassette toilet like we do, and if you plan on using it, once again, doesn't hurt to get that ready to go. So we use just some holding tank deodorizers that you throw into your cassette toilet with a gallon of water. So in order to prime that, you open up your cassette toilet with this handle right here, slide that over, and then you'll press this button and run some water in with your deodorizer tablet. And that kind of primes it, gets it ready for use. Okay, so next up, I recommend doing all of your zippers, Velcro, straps, everything that kind of seals up the pop-up from the outside. So for example, in this corner here, we have a zipper which runs all the way down along the seam of the support bracket, and that's applicable to all four corners, but I'll just go ahead and zip those up. All right, so part of doing the Velcro is doing the Velcro up on the door, and this is just simply to seal in the door right here. Essentially the same thing on all four corners with these guys as well. They Velcro over your supports. All right, the next step is to attach the bungees on the underside of the bunk ends. Essentially all four sides again. Another place for Velcro is right on the corner. There's Velcro that attaches right down there, and then also on the jut outs of the slide out, that just all gets Velcroed into place. A lot of times it's already sort of Velcroed itself before you even get to it. Okay, so we're almost getting to the end. Next up is the gray water tank. As you can see, we have one of these just 7-gallon water containers that I made sure I marked gray water all over just in case. And that's what we use for our gray water holding tank to collect sink water and shower water. So, pretty simple to set up. All I do is, at least for the sink in this example, unscrew that. This is a probably 2 to 2.5 feet of hose that screws on there, and then the bottom of this just goes into your gray water collecting tank. All right, guys, so that is it as far as how to pop up your pop-up camper. I think I counted, it's like 30 steps, so 30 easy steps on how to set up your pop-up camper. If you guys notice anything I missed or that I should have mentioned, let me know. So hopefully we'll see you out there camping.